Hello, America. Today I want to talk about a couple of foundations, both nonprofit, both New World Order alignments. One of them is the Project for the New American Century, or PNAC, and the Heritage Foundation. I'm going to kind of come around to my points. Just bear with me. Ronald Reagan, in his alien threat connotation at the United Nations speech of how quickly the people of the world would align and stop their petty bickering and infighting if only there were a common enemy. He endorses the Illuminati directly by his endorsement of the Heritage Foundation and PNAC. Also, the Heritage Foundation, established in 1973, whose mission is to think tank, then formulate and promote conservative public thoughts or propagandize lies for spin control and thought manipulation, trying to convince you on what your take should be on it if ever questioned by anyone on the street. Stop watching the news and start listening, literally. Close your eyes or put on a blindfold if it's hard not to, or to keep yourself from looking, or just walk around and turn off the picture. Sometimes it's amazing what you'll hear. You'll hear little things go on here and there. I'm going to jump around this entire video. In 1972, UNESCO, or United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, it's the same groups. It's, you know, UNESCO ties in with all of these people for a new American century, the Project for a New American Century. They're all tied together in this one group, and they all keep sending you the same message. You keep hearing education, science, culture. The head of the Cultural Society for Iran was tried, or is being tried. You don't believe me how big this thing is? Go to unesco.org. 193 member states and 6 associate members. It doesn't sound sinister, but when you start looking into some of the programs that they work with, PNAC, Project for a New American Century, it is a think tank again, a non-profit educational organization founded by William Crystal and Robert Kagan. Their goal to continue the policy of Reaganites with military strength and morality, as Reagan said. And you have to remember, Ronald Reagan was the man who had the boy hookers in the White House. No one knows what they were doing there, but they were given a middle-of-the-night tour. Funny how we forget these little things, but it crossed my mind when I was thinking about Reagan. George Bush Sr., while president, gave his "To Forge a New World Order" speech. And that's where the New World Order term came from. And he happened to mention, we're rule of law and not the law of the jungle. And they're manipulating law of the jungle rules in order to bring about their rule of law. Their rule of law. Not a constitutional rule of law, but their rule of law. He says, when we win, and then very smugly, and we will, we have a chance to be ruled by the United Nations and fulfill the role of its founders. The United Nations is filled with neocons and Nazis. You know, America, we have to look at it. It's not as innocent as it looks on the surface. Their ties and their links speak for themselves. The very same people who brought us Codex Alimentarius and robbing America of its liberty, freedom, and sovereignty. That's what their ultimate goal is. The one world nation, the North American Union, the one president, one leader, and one ruler, while stealing your liberty. And that's exactly what they intend. Even Gary Hart, and everyone made fun of how stupid Gary Hart was. I know my hair's long. I was given 4 book assignments to read by viewers, and by the time I was done with them, I realized I needed a haircut, so get over it. Even Gary Hart warned of the New World Order and its planned coup, and the press called him stupid. They really did. They said, oh, he's just a moron, and I sort of went along with it, because, you know, popular television, I didn't know any better. Bill Clinton, a Rhodes Scholar and president, the man spoke about concentration camps. When Sarah McClendon of the McClendon News Agency asked the question about concentration camps, being very abrupt, asked about land being purchased in Tennessee and Kentucky by the United Nations and then being handed over to FEMA, to which Bill's response was, cooperation with the United Nations, endorsed voting nations. These nations are the ones that I'm telling you about, like China, Algeria, Saudi Arabia, France, and of course America, Russia, all voting members of the United Nations panels. This is the problem, America. This is the issue, isn't it? This is really the thing that we're trying to address. So there are all these faces that we've put in positions of trust that have abused their position, abused their power. I don't trust any of them. Freedom and liberty, the ability to self-govern. The knowledge of when to separate yourself from a herd of people who merely are too lazy or too unmotivated to even ponder the what if. And that's really what it comes down to. We have a few minutes left. You know, and now we're looking to the future and its illustrious members. We're still being strapped with names like John McCain, Bill and Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld again and again and again and again. And now we're getting stuck in the same loop. And it's become overbearing. It's just become overbearing. America, we need to take our country back, and we need to do it quickly, because they're working faster than we are. And just so the word's out there, I want you to understand, I'm not trying to lead a group of people here. I'm trying to just spread a little information, spread a little joy, bring something about that people can understand, and sort of wrap their brain around to at least get them started on the direction of studying what's really going on here and trying to get a handle on it, because there's so much information that needs to just be, I don't know, I guess, chewed on, just sort of worked out in your mind and gone back and forth with, and the next thing you know, a little common sense into the mix, which is something no one else gives you, and some good old-fashioned country train of thought, and you know, apple a day keeps the doctor away if you throw it at him. So just something to think about. And UNESCO, United Nations, Heritage Foundation, PNAC, they're all part of the same groups, America, and the sooner we all learn this, the better off we're all going to be, because it's become overbearing, and if you don't feel the stress in your wallet, and you don't feel the stress when you look around the cities, and we're going to talk about unemployment in my next video. I won't be able to get to it right away. I have to go to work, but I'll talk to you folks real soon.